talk about Saturday, May 24th. Saturday, I feel like we are very much kind of cooking with grease, especially in the morning, 4:43 a.m. Moon in Aries, sextile Jupiter and Gemini. This again, there's something social about this aspect, needing to connect, but being fine, kind of doing it independently, going your own way, you know, uh, yeah, you need the things you need, and you're going to do the things you do in order to get them. It's the feel good aspect because Moon and Jupiter are in contact with each other. There also could be a little bit of an overdue, like an overdoing it. The emotional reactions get a little bit heightened, a little bit more, a little bit louder, a little bit more impassioned. Not super bad though. 10:38 a.m. we have the moon entering Taurus. She enters her exaltation. However, Moon in Taurus is going to be ruled by that Venus in Aries. So everything that the Moon in Taurus does in order to secure its safety, security, comfort, feeling all of the good feelings is really, it has a little bit more of a selfish bent with that Venus in Aries being its lord. So there's definitely I need what I need when I need it, and that's it. But we do love a moon in Taurus. 4:35 p.m. So now we're getting into the afternoon. Things are going to be changing here. We have the moon squaring retrograde Pluto. This is a, emotional, also psychological fixed square. When the moon squares Pluto, Pluto goes, you have to release something. You have to eliminate something. I need you to go deeper into whatever this is and then chuck out what doesn't get you, right? There is a very passionate, almost obsessive kind of thing about the square as well. And also just feeling emotionally confronted. There could be some power and control stuff coming up at this point too. It's not a pleasant square. Let's just call it what it is. At 8:35 a.m., this is the biggie. We have Saturn entering Aries. Now, Saturn enters Aries on the Aries point. So, one of the things that we have to keep in mind, first and foremost, or one of the first and foremost points, is Saturn enters Aries on the Aries point and it goes, hey, I'm here. So, the things that happen at this degree, at this Aries point, at this 0 to 1 degree, are really telling us the story about what Saturn is about, what its time in Aries is going to be about. So, I can expect, or we can expect, that there's going to be some news that has to do with Saturnian things, borders, limits, maybe stuff around work, certainly things about social structures, because that's, very much about Saturn, things about bosses, reputation, or leaders. Things like that can come up into play. Saturn in Aries is unfortunately in its fall, not in a great condition. Saturn is a slow moving planet, and it does not like being in a fast sign. There's something about youth with the sign of Aries, and Saturn is all about age, wisdom, elderly, older, the crone, right? So there could be something here that creates this tension or issue with how Saturn gets to act. And Saturn is in its fall, it feels kind of disrespected and not seen, and that, everybody else is doing so much better than I am here. I've been kicked down kind of thing. Saturn also invites, wherever Saturn is in our charts, it invites us to learn lessons, longer term lessons, unfortunately, and to master something in this space. So wherever Saturn and Aries is in our charts, we are going to start having lessons here. So for instance, if you are a Libra rising, then Saturn would be entering your whole sign, 7th house of relationships. So here we're going to have lessons around commingling, partnerships, possibly even legal stuff, romance, like one-on-one partnerships, relationships, marriage, all of that stuff could be coming up at that time. So you'll want to see where that Aries is in your chart. If you need any help with that, I got you. So Saturn, I think, is going to be coming in kind of loud. I'm very interested to see what this ingress is going to kind of show. We do have, for the ingress chart, Saturn is in a really frustrating aspect with its ruler, Mars. It's almost like an argument energy. It's like, I don't wanna, you can't make me, which also feels like kind of Saturn and Aries, right? But if we talk about more about Saturn and Aries, this is mastering one's impulsivity. This is learning to master one's anger. There could be limits around our independence. I think there's lessons around cooperation. I think that there are lessons and tests saying we can't do it alone. We need to learn what the limit is around being isolationary. Is that a word? Maybe. And like, I can do it all on my own. We need each other. I think there's going to be a lot of lessons here around that. So this is a big ingress. It is one of the bigger things to look at for the year, hard astrology, especially because, even just thinking about when Jupiter entered Gemini, which was in his detriment, not fall, but detriment. He's not in great condition. And Jupiter in Gemini has brought a whole litany of issues around the judicial system and immigration and cultural exchange, certainly around laws. And so when we see a big outer planet moving into a state where it's not comfortable, we know that there's going to be issues with it. We know there's going to be issues around Saturnian things for us to deal with collectively. And Saturn will be in Aries until September. Then he will go retrograde back into Pisces and then back into Aries in February. So we're going to get a taste of what Saturn in Aries is. Grapple with that. Go back, revisit what we've let go of with Saturn in Pisces, and then go forward again. So this is, it's a long story. Saturn is going to be in Aries for, I think, about 2.5 years. We just got to lock in. At 4:15 p.m. for this Saturday, we have Mercury in Taurus conjunct Uranus. New ideas, shocking, surprising information around value, resources, food, the earth. There could be things around transportation coming up with Mercury being the planet that has to do with, or one of the planets that has to do with transportation, not necessarily travel, but transportation. There could be just new ideas flowing, some sort of invention, right? That has to do with Turian things, beauty, Yeah, beauty, money. There could be something around Bitcoin. Interesting. Anyways, new ideas are flowing in the evening, and this is something that's, kind of interesting to deal with because we just had this big ingress. I think that today is going to feel, or Saturday in particular, is it's going to feel pretty critical isn't quite the right word, but intense and like a live wire. Yeah, like a live wire.